Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on which part of the world you're connecting from. I'm so excited to have us here today. My name is Nathaniel, Odiba Nathaniel. I'm the moderator for this event, First Soybean Trade and Investors Forum. Can you hear me? Let me be sure I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. So I'm so excited to welcome everyone to this First Soybean Trade and Investors Forum. This event has been organized by the Nigeria Agribusiness Register in close partnership with Nigeria Soybean Association and also Afro Chamber. Afro Chamber is Brazilian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I would also like to very specially recognize our sponsor, Kumar Metal Industries. They are refinery turnkey plant supplier. Thank you. In today's event, I'll just give us a brief profile of the participants that we have in today's event. Now, we have soybean operators across the different segments of the value chain, processors, aggregators, and processors. Producers, I beg your pardon, aggregators and processors. The amazing part is the participation for these operators cut across different parts of Nigeria. Ogun, Taraba, Benue, Port Harcourt, Lagos, just all are Ogun. All across Nigeria. It's so exciting to see that level of interest coming from Nigeria like that. And also we have participants that are also joining us from different parts of the world, USA, Brazil, India. Also, we have with us technical assistance providers. We have, that is donor funded, of course, donor funded technical assistance providers. We have agribusiness investment activity. They are here with us today. We have Nourishing Africa. We have a number of technical assistant providers who would be joining us today. It would also interest you that we have financial institution, and the reason they are joining us today is to see viable projects they can fund for funding consideration. Yes. We also have government agencies represented. We also have, interestingly, intending investors who want to understand a lot about soybean industry and then see how they can push in some of their fund to that effect. So, it promises to be quite an interesting event. So I would like us to feel free to network and engage. As a ground rule, I'm sure our IT department has put this in place, but for those, once you are not talking, please kindly mute your microphone so that the event will not be rowdy, so we'll enjoy ourselves properly or hear ourselves properly. If you have question, there's a chat function. Look at your either the Android phone you're using or whatever device you're using. You see a chat function, typing the question you want to ask, or you can use a QA function or button to drop your questions. Again, this is it's a networking event. So, but because of the brevity of time we have, we may not be able to do elaborate networking. So to help us, what we do is we encourage people to put their details on the chat function. Tell us what you do, put on your contact details so people can reach you after the event. So the event is just a platform. After the event, there's certainly, there's also an aftermath of the event. So please kindly drop your details so we can, or interested people can contact you. So that's so much from me. So once again, I thank you so much for joining us, and I'm wishing us a very, very great deliberation in today's event. To take us further, I would like to welcome Roland Oro. He is founder, director of the Nigeria Agribusiness Register. This is your time, Mr. Roland.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Nat Odiba. All right, so let me welcome everyone to this platform, to this event. This is the first Agnet. So Agnet stands for Agribusiness Networking. It's one of the tools that the Nigeria Agribusiness Register uses to facilitate engagement between project promoters and fund providers, right? So the Nigeria Agribusiness Register, main role or function is to provide information, provide networking opportunities for actors within the value chains. We're working across 15 value chains, including the soybean value chain. We thought that it's important for people to have a platform where they can sort of network and engage with those that provide support, either funding or technical assistance to make projects take off, including those that want to expand their projects. So the register, you can go to our website, www.naro.ng, to get additional information. In the last 2 years, we've been working, across several value chains, share nuts, cashew nuts, across, soybeans, maize, staple crops, export-oriented crops, and working with the associations, so that we can begin to, organize ourselves, better, to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. And the Agribusiness Register is the investment facilitation arm of Commodities Development Initiative, which is our major body. The CDI, for short, does a couple of things. We do investment facilitation for agriculture and non-agri industries. We do agricultural development. We work with processors, to organize farmers into groups, into clusters, and make the connections between farmers and processors, and then make the connections to market. So market development is one of the activities of CDI. And then we also do private sector development. And within that field, we work with associations, providing capacity support to the associations. And we hold these investment events with associations, so that we can provide an institutional framework, where we can really organize ourselves to attract investments into the value chains. So I want to thank everyone for taking our time to join us. I want to thank especially the president of the Nigerian Soybean Association, Professor Owala. He's been very, cooperative and supportive in the last few weeks, working with our team, and of course with his board members, to put this event together. One of the main highlight of today's event, is we're going to have a panel session where we're going to be looking at how do we increase production and the productivity of soybeans. Like many of you know, in the last 12 months, there've been a lot of issues with shortage of soybeans, and it's affecting the users, the feed industry, poultry industry, and all of that. And at the same time, there's strong demand for Nigerian soya in the international market. So we thought that it's important to bring experts together, and I'm so honored, so happy to have a lot of our senior people, experienced people on this platform from the association and those that have been associating with Professor Owala. Professor Owala himself I think it's an institution. I mean, he's been involved in soya research since 1978. So I want to really honor him, and I want us to honor him and his team and the association. We think that the issues that we are confronted with, we can address them through partnerships. These are not things that we should leave alone to the government. We need to, the private sector needs to partner with the government so that we can begin to address the issues that are confronting us, even as a value chain and beyond that as a nation. My background is development, and that's why we're taking some of these approaches, to look at the developmental aspect of business, not just, taking a short-term view, but taking a medium to long-term view, to address some of the issues to address, so that we can become more competitive in the domestic market and in the export market. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, welcome. I would like to, request that we take advantage of this platform, this opportunity that we have. People are tired of talking, so we're not just going to talk. We'll talk and then put action to our words. So that after the event, we'll have some, follow-on actions. Let me also recognize the presence of one of our partners, the Afro Chamber, which is the Brazilian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. They so gracious enough to join us today. Like you all know, Brazil Brazil now is the #1 in soybean production. They were overtaking America, the US. So we're hoping to learn from them so that we can also improve and upgrade our production. So I want to welcome the Afro Chamber, and in particular the person of Rogredias. You're welcome. Also to acknowledge the support of one of our sponsors from Kuma Industries of India. They are in Nigeria with a lot of projects, refinery projects for shea and soybean, and I'm sure they'll have time to say a few words as we move on. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And the next few minutes, hours will be very, very important for the soybean industry as we harvest our thoughts and actions to take the industry to the next level. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Roland, for that very warm welcome address. So to take us further, just like he said, we would like to get goodwill message from our partner. That would be Afro Chamber. So Afro Chamber representative, this is your time. You could just give us in 2 minutes or so your goodwill message. Yes, Afro Chamber, if you can hear me, Afro Chamber representative. We call on you to give your goodwill. Unmute, okay. Please kindly unmute his microphone. Kindly unmute his microphone so he can have access to the audio. Please unmute his microphone, Afro Chamber, for his goodwill message. Please kindly unmute his microphone. That is Afro Chamber representative. Hello, if you can hear me, Afro Chamber representative, this is your time. Hello? Your mic is on. Please go ahead. Can you? Oh. Okay. I think he can't just hear us at the moment. So let's not waste time on that. Quickly, let me just call if the president of Nigerian Soybean Association is ready. He can just quickly give us his goodwill message while we wait for Afro Chamber representative to come later on for their goodwill message. So please kindly unmute Professor Ayodele Owala so we can have access to his audio. Yes, please kindly unmute Professor Ayodele, the president of Nigerian Soybean Association, for his goodwill message. Yes, sir, please go ahead. Yeah, please, Prof, go ahead. Prof, unmute your microphone. Prof, unmute your microphone so you can, this is your time for your goodwill message. Hello, Prof. I know Prof is here. I think he's having problem unmuting his microphone. Please kindly unmute your microphone for your goodwill message. Professor Ayodele Uwa.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We
Can
can
you
hear you
hear
now.
me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I welcome everybody on board for this first Agnet Soybean Trade and Investment Forum. I wish to appreciate the good work the management has done with all the partners, and also the contributions of our partners in the NSA, which includes the IITA, all the universities and the universities of agriculture in Nigeria. We have been moving the vehicle since 1982, and we still continue to move. We also thank other participants like the UPL that has provided support for finding solutions to increase in soybean production in Nigeria. We wish everyone good day, and our contributions, I know, will move soybean to the level we expected. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that short one. Thank you so much, the President of Nigerian Soybean Association, Professor Ayodele Uwala. Okay, so I would like Rodrigo, who will be representing Rodrigo, if you can hear me, please. Yes, Rodrigo, this is your time for a goodwill message of Afro Chamber.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't able to do it before. Sorry, guys. I want to welcome everybody to this great event. It's a real pleasure for us from Afro Chamber to be here and provide you with information regarding our scenario in Brazil. I will later on will be talking about how Brazil is going for and becoming the #1 in the world. And so again, thanks everybody for having your time with us today. Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that very brief one. We truly appreciate you. Okay, so we're going to get the representative.
Okay, so Nat, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay, all right, I think I'm back now. Yeah, so we would like to welcome Mr. Dilip from Kumar Industries Limited, one of our sponsors, for their goodwill message. So
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Great. You're welcome. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes. First of all, we congratulate all and welcome all our participants to be with us. So during this pandemic time and pandemic period, I hope everybody is well, and I pray for everyone's good health and well wishes. So we will be giving some company presentation later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you so much. All right, so that's just warming up. Let's take the event to the next level. Now, during the course of this event, a lot of people who registered for this event said they want to know a lot about soybean industry. They want to have more insight. So get yourself ready as we're entering to the next gear for this event. Taking us further, we're going to be having a paper presentation by Professor Ayodele Uwala, who I introduced earlier. That is the president Nigerian Soybean Association. He's going to give us a paper titled The Current State of Nigeria's Soybean Production and Demand. So, Prof, if you can hear me, kindly unmute your microphone. This is your time, sir.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
can you
Prof.
Hear me?
Yes, Prof, we can hear you. Hello? Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Looking at the statistics, the production of soybean as at 2020, 2019 was estimated to be about 1.2 million metric tons, as against 2.6 million metric tons required by the industries. A lot of gap. And with this, the soybean scientists in the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture, IITA, and all the research institutes in Nigeria that are related to soybean production have started working to make sure that we increase the yield per unit area. That was when we started the multi-locational trials to assess, to be able to get varieties that are suitable for locations. Through all this, the IIT and NCRI, they have developed varieties through the selection and investigating all the developed soybean varieties in all the different locations. As at now, we have many varieties that could yield up to 1.5 to 2 tons per hectare. We now looked at the situation, problems confronting increase in soybean production. We realized that we need good quality, and that's what IITA and NCRI has been doing. They have been packaging good quality seeds to farmers. Apart from that, we have tried as much as possible to look at the aspect of weed control, and an aspect and another technology developed by IIT with the use of inoculant in treating our seeds before planting. It has been assured, we have realized that using the inoculant, which we call nodumas in Nigeria, has been able to increase yield by almost about 30 to 40%. However, we also looked at the situation where the diseases, the prime diseases we have in Nigeria are so many, but the major one is the rust disease. With the coming together of the scientists, they have been able to develop varieties. Hello? They have been able to develop varieties that are resistant to the rust disease. So also, an aspect of increasing soybean yield per unit area, we have decided to reduce the spacing. Thereby, we have high population, and with the adequate fertilizer, we have been able to achieve higher yields. In experimental field, we have been able to see, we have been able to achieve almost 3 to 4 tons per hectare in experimental field. And we believe going to the main field, we will be able to achieve more. Apart from that, we have sensitized all our engineers that are producing threshers so that the farmers could have good qualities and have value for their product. Apart from that, we have been able to train our farmers in the technology of preserving or harvesting their crops. Thereby, the amount of impurities in soybean will be reduced. These are all what we have been able to do. And then annually we meet with the Nigerian soybean members where we discuss problems and find solutions. For instance, this year we are expecting that the conference will be coming up in Niger State. Right now, the Nigerian Soybean Association, along with Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, have started training farmers. We have trained farmers in 2 locations. That is, we have trained farmers in Niger State and Nasarawa State, where we have distributed seeds and other input. With all this, I believe in 2021, we'll be able to have more yields and we'll be able to supply enough to all our industries. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Ayodele, for that very insightful presentation. Now, that is just like a summary of what will be discussed in-depthly in the next session. The next session of this event would be the panel discussion. This is one of the major highlights of this event, and please, I would like you to pay attention, and then you can put some of your comments by the comment session once you're listening to the discussion. So to take us further on this event, I would like to welcome Mr. Roland, who will be moderating the panel session to go ahead. Now, for the panel session, we have Professor Ayodele Wala, the President, Nigerian Soybean Association. We also have Professor Sidi Osho. She's a soybean value chain expert. We have Annabelle Kumase Ibe. He's the Group Managing Director, NISAT Limited. We also have Professor David Kolawole Ojo. He's a soybean scientist at the IITA. He's also a senior lecturer at the University of Agriculture, Akure. Joining the panel session also is Tola Johnson. She is a CEO, Catalyst Gold Allied Agro, I beg your pardon, CEO, Catalyst Gold Agro Allied Industries Limited, and also Advisory Council member, Soy Excellence Center. It's a project of United States Soya Export Council. We also have joining us for the panel session, a representative of BASF West African Limited. And Mr. Roland would be moderating this session. Mr. Roland, if you can hear me, please take over the panel session.
Okay, thank you very much. Excuse me, Nat, can you hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, so we're going into the panel session now, but before that, I just wanted to show us a few slides on where we are right now vis-a-vis other nations. I wanted to put up this, just a minute, please. Okay, but can you see this slide? It's not in slide format, but can you see it? Is it clear?
Yes, we can see this. You're sharing your screen. We can
see
it.
Okay, yeah, okay. I wanted to put it on slide mode, but I'm just having some challenges here. Anyway, I'll just use it like this. So this is production data for soybean, Nigerian soybean, in comparison with other countries. So in Africa, you have Nigeria and South Africa as the two major producers. And you can see what we are doing here. This is 700,000 tons as at 2020. These are statistics from the USDA, Foreign Agricultural Service. South Africa is doing 1.4 million tons right now. India is doing 10.5 million, China 17.5, Argentina 50 million. The USA is doing 113 million tons per as at 2020. And then Brazil, like we said earlier on, Brazil has overtaken the US to be #1 producer of soybeans at 133 million tons. You can see where we are. Now, the next slide is going to show us where we are regarding the yield per hectare. Nigeria is doing, we're doing, this is 97, this is 9 kilogram per, this is 0.9 tons, 0.9 tons per hectare as of 2020. And see where South Africa is, 1.8 tons per hectare. India is doing 1 ton, and it goes on like that, you know, with US and Brazil at the 3 and above. Now, the next slide I'm going to show you here is the area planted. This is million hectares. We're doing 700,000 tons based on these statistics that we have, and closely followed. We're following South Africa at 790,000 tons as area planted. And you can see where Brazil, US, and Argentina, and all the other countries are. Now, this is going to be the subject of our discussion today, to look at, how do we increase our production? How do we increase our productivity so that we can, begin to, become a force? I mean, I think we can do it. I know the Americans are saying that they taught the Brazilians how to grow soya, and then Brazil has overtaken them. So we need to have that sort of focus, to sort of increase from where we are, so that we can become a force. Because, like we know, there's demand for Nigerian soya in the international market, but we don't have enough production to really satisfy our domestic requirements as well as the international requirements. So I think this is an opportunity for us, and we want to provide this opportunity for us to have this conversation, to look at, what are the areas, what are the things that we need to do, to increase our production and our productivity. I was glad when Prof was talking about, pilot trials of 3 tons per hectare, which means that if we take it seriously, in the next 5 years or 10 years, we can actually overtake, some of these countries, China, India, we can overtake them. South Africa, we can overtake South Africa by next year or 2 years or the following year if we're serious. We produced a report on the soya value chain in our Ag Week publication. You can download it at this link here to get more information on the soya situation in Nigeria. So we'll go straight now to the panel, and I want to welcome the panelists, and I ask them to unmute themselves. Just unmute yourself if you are a member of the panel. Professor Ayodele Wala, President of the Nigerian Soybean Association. Professor Sidi Osho, she's a soybean value chain expert. Mrs. Annabelle Kumachi Ibe, she's the Managing Director of NISAT Limited. Professor David Kolawole Ojo, a soybean scientist with IITA and also a lecturer at the University of Agriculture, Akure. And then we have Mrs. Tola Johnson. She's also a major player in the soya value chain. So we have this crop of people who I think are very experienced, very knowledgeable. They've been around for decades. They've been working on this subject. And the whole idea is to put action to words. How do we elicit strategies that we can use to sort of begin to increase our production and our productivity so that we can become a significant player in the international market, since we know that there's demand for Nigerian soya. So, ladies and gentlemen, panelists, please unmute yourself. If you have any issues, just let us know so that we can attend to that. Do we have Prof? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give 1 minute each to each of the panelists to just quickly, or let's say 30 seconds, just quickly introduce yourself, say a little bit about what you've been doing on soybean, so that the audience will, have that information. So please, can I start with ladies first? Can I start with Professor Sidi Osho? Can you tell us?
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be part of this important meeting. My name is Sidi Osho. We've been working on soybean since 1986. And it is very important that we start looking at the best models to improve production. Then, when IDRC was funding soybean program, they were looking at a model where utilization was the strategy. The more uses you have for soybean, the more farmers are interested in making sure that they produce soybean. And also on the other side, when you look at the nutrition challenges, the malnutrition problems in Nigeria, currently, I read a study from UNICEF that was 2020. 2 million Nigerian children are suffering from acute malnutrition. 45% of the deaths are also associated with it. 2 out of every children is affected. The first 100 to 1,000 days are very significant, and they're looking at opportunities to improve malnutrition. And then when you look at small-scale industries, the oil, the fatted cake, the flour, and looking at incorporating soybeans into our own traditional foods like soy gari, soy lafu to improve nutrition, there's a lot of potential. I think we should adopt a model of promoting utilization again from all the geopolitical zones and all the ethnic foods, and also look at small-scale industries which you can establish. At the same time, Nigerians has opened up the trade market, and so there are lots of developed products from soybean that are coming in. Yesterday, I took delivery of some which they want us to penetrate into the market. They are, simple foods, and I think we need to take advantage of that. The Nigerian Soybean Association is a very strong team. We work as a team, and as we look at the value chain, we take cognizance of the farmers' needs and their families. We also do impact assessment studies on the impact of this soybean production and soybean utilization in the community to see whether it has improved the total well-being. But overall, I would like to say that this is a wonderful opportunity and a platform to network. I think we can work with the Afro Chamber. We can also work with the other companies that want to penetrate the market with the soybean product. We want to use the model of utilization, processing, industrial applications, and also novel therapeutic foods to penetrate the market. And then the farmers are encouraged to grow more soybeans, taking into consideration some of the rules and regulations that our agronomist has stated earlier. This is my contribution. So Nigeria has the highest stunted growth children in the world right now. We are 37% of the Nigerian child is stunted. And so this is an opportunity to introduce soybean again at household level, at industrial level, and also to address the issues of malnutrition and to address the issues of industry. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much, Madam Osho. Thank you. I mean, there's so much to say. I can see that you have a lot to give to us today. You've talked about utilization, crushing, industrialization as a tool for farmers to grow more. So that's another point. But let me say that at this point now, we have targeted questions. I want the panelists to just introduce themselves within 30 seconds, and then we'll come back to you with specific questions, and then we'll take your responses. The event is being recorded, so we're going to have a report out of these conversations. So let me go to our next lady on the panel, Mrs. Annabelle Komachi. Just introduce yourself and tell us what your company does in 30 seconds, please.
Maybe you can unmute her and you unmute yourself.
Just a minute.
Working on soybean, tracing soybean.
Okay, while we're getting, okay, hold on. Let's think. Yes, Annabelle, you can unmute yourself now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is. Oh, okay. My name is Annabelle Kamuche. I'm the Group MD of NISAT Group. NISAT is made up of comprises of 3 companies. NISAT in partnership with EcoSat that does conformity, that carries out conformity assessment and certification using the EcoSat accreditation to certify that products are complied with international standards like the organic standard, the fair trade standard, and a lot other food safety standards for exports. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
And then NISAT Expert Consulting that provides the services of training on conformity to different standards, and also provides market linkages between producers and international off-takers.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Annabelle. So can we go? I'd like to go over to Mrs. Tola Johnson. If you can unmute yourself to introduce yourself at this time. 30 seconds, please.
Okay.
Sorry, can you, Thomas, please unmute yourself. I mean, mute your microphone. Thomas, mute your microphone. Thomas, Ade, please mute your microphone. We can hear you. Just mute the microphone. Great. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Madam Johnson, can you unmute yourself now? Okay, while we wait for her to come up, can we have Professor David Kolawole introduce himself? Can we have Prof. David introduce himself? Okay, maybe they're having some technical issues with their microphones. All right, so I will go straight now to the first question. Professor Owala, I mean, you've already introduced yourself, so we'll not, take that again. I think we would like to know what are some of the soybean production and productivity projects and programs across the soybean zones. Prof. Elaron, you talked about some of the feed trials that you have been doing that are generating about 3 to 4 tons per hectare, which is very, very fantastic, and we would like to hear more about that. But right now, what are some of the projects that are government or private sector projects that are ongoing at the moment that are significant to affect overall production? Can you just maybe share with us in maybe 1 minute? And if anybody within the panel has any information on this, please, you are free to raise up your hand and then we'll allow you to speak. Prof, can you hear me? Professor Wala, can you hear me? Or any member of the panel can respond to this, please. Are there any soybean production and productive projects that we are aware of that can either be scaled up or be be supported to further increase our production and our productivity? Anybody can respond to this, please.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Okay, even though you skipped in the introduction, my name is Thierry Oladiji, like shown on the screen. I work for BASF. BASF is a German multinational company with interest in crop solutions as it were. So I think any part of the introduction again is okay, fine. Since 2017, I joined BASF. We've been working on several projects to create awareness about our solutions for soybean. For soybean, it could go for soybean, it could go for cowpea, it could go for ground also. And this has taken me around almost the core soybean producing state, Benue, Kaduna, Taraba, mentioned it clearly. So what we are introduced is to bring a new and innovative solution, a one application or one shot application post-emergent herbicide that farmer only apply once and it does not do any weeding till after harvest. Like Professor Uwala said, we actually equally providing inoculant as well to actually increase productivity. In 2017, 2018, in fact, particularly in 2019, we did work with Nestle, with CNFA, to actually showcase the benefit of our product to the farmers. So that just the matter there. So like you said, there are a lot of projects in each of the states. Majorly, you have private project led. You have those that are actually anchor borer led. But my experience so far is that, if you look at anchor borer or state project led, there's always this uncoordinated funding. Mrs. Stola Johnson here will say more about this as well. So basically, I can say Olam is doing well. Tri-Fabric is doing a lot of projects in Kaduna. A lot of guys wanted to do about 2,000 hectares in Benue last year. Alluvial Trust, after I remember that, they couldn't actually kick off at the end of the day because of finance. So, but I do see a lot of projects in soya in each of the states. But how are they actually executed? What was the result at the end of the day? But there are challenges this project are actually facing, which I think in the course of this discussion will come up with those solutions to those challenges very clearly.
All right, thank you so much. And my apologies. I think you're right. I skipped you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Can we have Annabelle now? Can you unmute yourself, Annabelle? Or can we have Thomas? Thomas, you can speak now. You're unmuted already. Oh, not Thomas. Sorry, Professor David Kolawole. Can we have David Kolawole? What about Prof? Can we have Prof Wala?
I think there's a problem with this mute and unmute thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just giving us issues here. All right, who else in the panel is that can speak so that we can take your contribution on this point? Maybe we can move forward to the next question. What is the current government programs in support of production and productivity? Are there any program, our friend from BSL, are there any program that you are aware of from the government side, either federal or state governments, that are specifically geared towards increasing productivity and production? I know that in 2012, under the Agricultural Transformation Program, there were a lot of initiatives on soya, but I don't know if there's anything right now. Can you share with us if you are aware of any?
Okay, currently we will not, because the season is due to be like 4 months away, and unfortunately in this part of the world, our planning is not the best. We only plan when it's like 1 month or 2 months of the season. So as of today, I can't say with finality what is actually happening in one state or the other. Even though, like I said, I'm aware a lot of states or projects are trying to see how they get support or funding from the anchor borer scheme, be it in Benue, be it in Taraba, be it in Yola, as it were. But where are they today in terms of those support? I think I leave that to the audience to guess as much as well. But clearly there are some projects that are going on. Tri-Fabric in Kaduna last year did work on soya. It's a private-led thing, not a government-led. What I really wanted to co-opt with, when Kaduna wanted to do about 50,000 hectares last year, but at the advent of COVID, that idea flopped. We had several meetings with the commissioners as well, so, but that idea the project didn't kick off. So those are one of those. So let me hope that 2021, already we have gotten used to COVID. We are managing it and we are managing it successfully. Let me hope that that project that failed in Kaduna in 2020 will actually see the light of the day in 2021. So there could be more of those projects which Professor Wala can share with us as well. But these are the few ones I know very clearly.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, so any of the panelists, can you, yes, Professor Wala, can you go ahead? I think you've unmuted yourself. You can go ahead and tell us.
Hello.
Go ahead. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, there are a lot of projects that are on. For instance, we are still trying to evaluate the effect of post-emergent herbicides on controlling weeds in soybean production. This was carried out in Mokwa, Niger State, Bida in Niger State, Wanune in Benue State, and Boko in Benue State. We have achieved a lot over this because the farmers outright saw the effect of post-emergent herbicides which we applied on the 19th day after planting. And then what it was astonishing that most of the herbicide we use also controls striga. Striga is a weed affecting many crops, including maize and soya, cowpeas, and others. But with the effects of the usage of this post-emergent herbicide, we have been able to achieve total control of this particular pest. Similarly, there are some zonal trials that are going on. Like what I told you, some of the high-yielding varieties that we identified were sent last year to almost 15 locations. The soybean scientist in IITA, Dr. Ambush, is also participating in this discussion. He will shed more light on what we have achieved so far. Apart from that, there's still a lot of work going on in making crosses to develop suitable varieties for Nigerian farmers by even introducing the gene from those that we imported and the best varieties that we have in Nigeria. I believe by doing this, within the shortest time, we'll be able to get suitable materials that are high yielding and pest resistant to our farmers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Can we get contribution from Mrs. Tola Johnson? Can you unmute yourself? Or Professor CD, for sure, you can come in at this point.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Sincere apologies. Can you all hear me?
Yes. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Sincere apologies that I'm coming in a bit late into the meeting. I'm having to juggle between one meeting and the other, and unfortunately, I couldn't unmute while I was at the other meeting because it was the meeting that had the governor of the state. So I apologize about that. My name again is Tola Johnson. I know I've been introduced already. And talking about soybeans production in Nigeria, how can we increase the yield that we have with respect to the particular seed variants and all that? I know Professor Iwela has done so much with respect to that because he will be able to, being a breeder himself, talking about increase in yield starts from what kind of seed are we cultivating in Nigeria. Even if we have all the soybean farmers, planting seeds that are not high yielding, we're still going to be getting the same type of results. Right. So I think where we need to start from with respect to increase in production, it has to be the seed variants that we are cultivating. It has to start from there. So which is the approved one? We need to start from there so that farmers, we can even have uniformity when we're talking about soybeans from Nigeria. There can be uniformity because that seed would have gone through so much testing that will have all the details about it, that will even enable us to market it. For example, the Americans will tell you the digestibility of the American soya beans is what makes it distinct. To break down the amino acids of their soya is what gives it that distinctiveness, because it's easy to break down. You don't require the birds, when you are using it as a feed for the birds, they don't require as much energy to break it down. So, you are then avoiding nutritional heat, which could lead to mortality. So if we look at countries like that, these are countries that we need to imbibe what they are doing, the good things they are doing in us developing our own seed. And I know that Professor Dr. Ayala and IIT they've been doing quite a good job with respect to to that. And we, you know, as the government, there is need for encouragement. What else do we really need? The farmers need to come together. Integrity is key. The demand for soya beans is a continuous one. It will keep growing. Why? Because the middle market, the middle income Nigeria is growing. And with that growth comes more knowledge about how to mitigate protein deficiency. How best can that be mitigated? Consumption of poultry. So if we're talking consumption of poultry, it means you can't take out soya beans if we're talking about growth in the poultry industry. Soya beans is very critical to the success of that industry. So, you know, starting from seed, going to the farmers must recognize that when we say come together, when we come together as a group, for example, as Nigerian Soya Beans Association, when we come together, when we say an off-taker is taking this, farmers need to be, you know, people of honor, to the point that when companies have said they will off-take from them and we have agreements needs to be respected. As an association, we are working hard. Last week, myself and Professor Iwela, we were in Abuja doing what? Seeking for funds for Nigerian soybean farmers, because we can't deny the fact that there is need to do something drastic. This time last year, soybeans were 130,000 naira per ton. Today, we're talking about over 300,000 per ton. It's over 100% inflation. So it is critical that we definitely, you know, need to increase that production. So as a group, we need to come together. The government also needs to listen to us. They need to listen to us. Listen to us in the sense that CBN funding maize farmers, soybean farmers also need to be funded. And when we get the funding, I'm appealing to our members now, because some of them are on this platform. Please, when we get this funding, don't let's do like other association members. I won't mention names. That CBN is so scared of funding again. Why? Because the funding they gave earlier on, people took it as national cake. We need to take that out if we really want continuous funding. People need to stop thinking about funding from the government as part of their national cake. And as such, they are not ready to pay back. There is need for funding. In addition to funding, we also need knowledge. The association is doing so much with respect to training. We need to do more. That's where we appreciate what United States Soya Export Council is doing with the Soya Excellence Center, where there is an agronomy track, a training, a course to improve on cultivation of soya beans. And I will advise that anyone going into cultivation of soya beans need to get on that course. It's very important. There is a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is power, and there's a lot of knowledge that can be transferred from that course. If you know what to do, definitely, and you put what you have learned into practice, there's bound to be increase in whatever you're doing. Your yield will be better if you carry out the appropriate agronomic practices. Yield will become better. We also need more investment in the business, in the industry. There's need for more companies to see the various parts of the value chain, from being landowners. You don't have to be a farmer to be someone who will invest in soybean cultivation. You can be a landowner and lease the land to farmers. From being a landowner to mechanization, we need more investment in all this. We can't continue to do agribusiness as a subsistence, as something just for me and my family. No, we need to move from there. For us to really increase yield, we need to go mechanized. Mechanized means bringing in equipment, utilizing equipment, both to cultivate the land and even when we are harvesting. If you see soya beans harvested with a combined harvester, all this talk about impurities, you will not see impurities. We cultivated soya beans that we harvested with a combined harvester. And the company we supply to, they were asking me, Tola, are you sure you did not import this one? I said, well, foreign exchange will not even allow me to import. So this is not imported soya. This is Nigerian soya. So we need more investors to come in. The financial institutions need to look at us favorably so that investments in that area will be done with a lot of knowledge. And as by so doing, operating on an industrial scale will help us to increase yield. It will help us to mitigate all these supply gaps. It is when there is supply gaps that we will begin to talk about importation. Importation is not an easy business. We do importation when there is need to do so. We cultivate locally, we believe in local production, but when the companies, the factories, to avoid them closing down and unemployment, unemployment being the order of the day, there might be need to import from time to time. But if we increase yield, Nigerian soya is desired even out there. People want our soya beans, they want our soybean meal, they want all the variants that we can get from soya. Too many variants, soya milk, alternate to meat, so many things. It's not just for the poultry. Soya is both for feed and food. So there is definitely need for us to increase this. We can also increase yield by making young Nigerians see the need. And this is where the media comes in. Farming, agribusiness must not be seen as a business for the poor. No, we need to change the narrative. So the media needs to come in here to play a role. And the role is make agribusiness, make cultivation of soybeans something that is attractive, something that is appealing to young Nigerians. And I'm confident by us incorporating all this, and the governors of especially soybean producing states, looking at this aspect of agribusiness as an important one, as a means to prevent social disaster. And what am I saying by that? Governors of soybeans producing states need to do something. What do they need to do? The land is there. Please invest in clearing that land. That's your own contribution. And what do they get in return by doing that? If 1,000 or 2,000 hectares of land is cleared by a state government, the production of soybeans from there, number one, we generate not just 2,000 work placements. No, it's going to be much more than that. The farmers will get work. The drivers who will drive the soybean produce will get work. Mechanics will get work. Petrol dealers, too many people will get work. And the economy of that environment will definitely be oiled with the production of soybeans. So what are they getting in return? They are getting a community that will be fully engaged, with young people, youth engaged, and by so doing, you are avoiding their minds idleness, which will lead to all these issues of crime and banditry and all that. So these are some of the things that we need to begin to imbibe for soybeans production to increase. And I pray and believe that at the end of what we're doing, our papers, our declarations here at this event will be passed on to the appropriate authorities. And we need to begin to engage, to begin to advocate for some of the things that we'll come up with at these sessions. And we pray this will then be executed, and invariably our desire to see increase in production will be fulfilled. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Tola Johnson. You've really spoken a lot. You've spoken my mind in many areas, and I want to thank you for your intervention. Please don't go away. I want to follow you up on a few points that you raised. I was discussing with Professor Wala yesterday, and I asked him what would he like to see as an outcome from this event. And one of the things that we agreed on was, look, we need to have a plan, maybe a 10-year plan, to move from where we are now in terms of volume of production and area planted, as well as the yield. We need to get a plan how we can move from where we are to something very significant in the next 10 years. So that's one goal. Now, the other goal that we discussed was, can we identify 10 states in Nigeria that the association and CDI can partner with to sort of, begin to move towards achieving the increased target that we're talking about. You mentioned that you were in a meeting now with the governor. I mean, that was very interesting. So you are the kind of people that we're looking for, people that have access, that have political capital, that have access to the governors, that can really present these opportunities, because sometimes they don't really know what the opportunities are and how they can come in. And you just made a good point that if governors can clear land, specific, quantity of land, and then we can attract investments, because that's what service providers like us do. We can attract investments into those cleared land. So that's something that we need to take you up on. So can we look around the country? What states are really, from your experience over the years? I mean, you've been very active in this sector. What states have been very proactive in terms of soya? We know Benue State is the #1 state, but apart from Benue, can we just, at this platform, generate 10 states, just 10 states that we think that we can approach and sit down with them and engage them very, very, in a very business-like manner to see how we can, get some commitment from them in terms of how they can invest in the value chain. Mrs. Tola Johnson, are you with us? Or Can you hear me?
Okay.
Sorry, you can unmute yourself now. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay, I have unmuted.
All right, thank you.
I have unmuted. Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm actually in Calabar as I speak to you.
Okay.
And yes, we're engaging here. I know that Niger State is doing quite a lot with respect to cultivation of soya beans. Okay. Taraba did, I think, over 2,000 hectares last year. And we are even in talks as a private organization, as well as with the NSA, to actually get them to do much more than they did last year. So I'm confident that Taraba State is going to do much more than what they did last year. Okay. Kwara State is also a state that is interested in developing soya beans, and is also a good state. Kogi is a good state. Kebbi, Nasarawa, Adamawa, most of the states in the north. Benue, yes, we always mention Benue. Benue is doing good. But apart from all these states that we all know, there are still some states that we haven't put on, but there are also states that we can. And that's one of the things that we want to achieve. For example, what we're doing here in Cross River State, engaging the government to see to production. And the governor is very, very keen. He's very, very interested. He's already given approval for cultivation of soya beans in the northern senatorial district of the states, with 5 local governments, that comprises of 5 local governments. And these are all states that are also they have the same climatic conditions as Benue State. So definitely cultivation of soya beans is going to be good. So we're going to give a lot of focus and see to it that we start that on a massive level in Cross River State. That is a new state that we're bringing on board the association. And in the next few weeks, we should be inaugurating the state chapter of Nigerian Soya Beans Association. So these are some of the states, and I'm sure more states like Ogun will also, some part of Ogun is also suitable, and we will also be working with even the Ogun state government to add to the number of states. A lot of the northern states are suitable, and it's already being cultivated in those states. But yes, we need to engage the government of those states more so that what we really want to achieve with respect to increase in yield, we will be able to achieve this increase that we so desire. Some states, looking at the rainfall pattern, some probably will need to begin to look at maybe when some are planting early, some will have to plant a bit late so that we don't have too much rain affecting it. Because yes, soybeans needs rain, but it also does not need too excess of it, because that definitely will begin to affect moisture. So these are some of the things that we're doing, and these are some of the states. If you know if anyone on this platform is aware of any state that maybe they have tried cultivation on a small scale and they want us to engage the state government so that more people can participate in cultivation of soybeans, thus increasing the production, the national production. Please feel free, let us know and contact us, and we will see how we can begin to carry out such engagements. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Madam. Thank you so much. I mean, I just taken down some notes here, and I have about 12 states here from just this conversation. And if our cutoff was 10, so we have Benue, Niger, Cross River, Taraba, Nasarawa, Kwara, FCT. Well, I added FCT, Kogi, Kebbi, Kaduna, Adamawa, Ogun. So I mean, we can prioritize.
Oyo.
Yes, Oyo, exactly. Yes,
and Osun should also be there.
Osun,
and
okay.
Ekiti State, yes.
Osun, Sokoto.
Yeah, Sokoto. Okay, great. So I mean, we can see that we have up to like 15 states, to really work with. After this session, we're going to hear from our Brazilian friends. They're going to tell us how they came from nothing significant in soya production to becoming #1 in the world. And the whole idea of this is to work with them closely and see how we can learn from them. And I think we have an opportunity coming up. Many of you are aware of the Green Imperative initiative of the federal government. That program involves the Brazilian government and Nigerian government, supporting us with mechanization and some kind of support. And I think that we can really work with soya on this collaboration with the Brazilians. And that's the reason why, one of the reasons why we have them on this platform today, to see how we can use the Green Imperative, which I think will be starting very soon, to see how we can, learn from their expertise and even get their service providers and possibly investors to come and invest in cultivation in Nigeria. So I think there's a lot to be done moving forward. At this point, I don't know if any member of the team want to make additional contributions.
Hello, Nat.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, just a further addendum to the proposal from Madam Tola Johnson. Yeah. I think it's better we streamline that strategy or action plan to look at in the next 5 years. Let's focus on the key states that has the highest comparative advantage of producing soya. So let's start from there. Because if you go to Sokoto is nothing in terms of volume. So if we focus on Benue for the first 5 years, can we, because even today in Benue, the average or the average yield per hectare is still less than 900 kg, which is poor even for Benue. To me, it's a poor result, as it were. So can we start with Benue, Adamawa, Kaduna, Niger, maybe one other state? We'll run it for 5 years consecutively, and let's see how we can scale up production from these 5 states, but these are the key soya producing states. Can we scale their production from 1 hectare to 1.8 hectare? If we can achieve that, we'll have done considerably more than enough. So let's break that action plan, instead of saying a 10 years plan, 5 years plan for those 5 states. But on the longer plan, the other states that are just coming up can now be absorbed into the 10-year plan, so that in the next 10 years, we are saying that Kwara will have come up to where Benue is. Benue will have triple where they are today. So I think that would be a better approach for me than a blanket 10-year plan. So I think we can actually squeeze ourselves, we can actually push ourselves to do more than we are trying to do today.
Yeah, all right, thank you. I mean, that's very important. Thank you so much. But the whole idea is a 10-year plan that has annual target. So we have annual target that are measurable. So we're measuring to see how we're doing every year, and then and then we're able to see what we can achieve over the 10 years. But I agree with you that we need to prioritize and focus on the states, but I think the focus here will be dependent on the willingness of the state, like Madam Tola was saying.
Exactly.
The willingness of the state to really be part of this. If a state is not prioritizing soya, I mean, there's no point putting them up in our strategy, and then they're not going to, yeah. So we're going to reach out, to all the states, working with the association, and then see how we can get the states that are really proactive, and then we'll take it up from there. There are there are a lot of support measures. I just mentioned one, the Green Imperative. The USAID has a grant program, and they are working on soya as well, and they're working on 6 states: Benue, Niger, Kaduna, Kebbi, Delta, and I think and Cross River. So within that USAID framework, we can put up programs across those states that are soya producing within their state's focus. But if I want to ask a quick question, are we aware of any other donor programs that are working on the soybean value chain so that we can highlight them and engage them? ITA manages a lot of programs. I don't know if there's any soya specific program that ITA is working on. Please, you can let us know in the course of this conversation. So
I think you can add CNFA to the list of support. I think they work with USAID as well. CNFA work with USAID. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So that's the other point. So there are private sector initiatives that we need to identify. I mean, we know that Olam is doing a lot in this sector. It's unfortunate that they're not able to join us today. I had a conversation with them, and they're going to follow up with this conversation. We need to harness the private sector initiative so far. Olam, Nestle is involved in the CNFA partnership that USAID is supporting. So we need to identify some of the big corporate users and see how we can help them to attract donor funding, for soya, and especially the area of utilization, like Madam Professor Sidi Osho talked about. That's very, very important, and I think it should be a key part of the strategy, because we need to increase our domestic consumption so that that becomes additional pool, from the market side to production, and then it becomes more attractive even for investors to set up crushing and value-added production in the country to address the protein shortage. So I think it's looking very bright. We just need to be talking like this. We need to walk like this. We need to walk the talk rather than just talking. So I think I'll begin to round up this session now. We've gotten a lot of information, and if the additional information that we have, you should please send it to us. I wanted to bring up the pool. We were supposed to have a pool, but no problem. I think. All right. So I want to thank the panelists again. Sorry for the technical hitches. Some of you could not speak. I don't know if we have Professor David Kolawole Ojo on this platform today. Are you with us today? And you want to just say something before we close this session? Professor Sidi, you have any closing remarks you want to say? Or Annabelle, you have any closing remarks you want to say? Professor Ayodele, you've already spoken so much today. Do you still have something you want to add as we begin to round up this session? The floor is open. Okay, I think we are good, and so that's the end of the panel session. I want to thank the panelists once again for their contribution. These are very insightful comments. We have taken note, and we're going to be working with the association on some of these points, to put action to the words. So with that, I hand it over to Mr. Nathaniel. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much. It was very insightful. I just sat back and then listened. Thank you so much. Now, to take us further on today's event, we're going to be having a presentation titled Global Soybean Market Insight. on also increasing soybean production using cooperative model. It's actually a case study of Cooperativa Agraria in Brazil. To do that, I'm going to call on Rodrigo Las. Rodrigo Las is the marketing coordinator at Cooperativa Agraria Brazil. So if you can hear me, Rodrigo, please kindly unmute your microphone and go ahead, sir. This is your time.
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, good. For me, it's good morning. For you, it's good afternoon. We are glad to be part of your panel today. So my name is Rodrigo Las, and I'm the head of the marketing here. I take care of the marketing for the group Agraria. And here in the back, I have my colleague. He's a trade specialist for oil and soy meal, and he's Paulo Mazzetto. He just came from another big cooperative, Coamo. It's the biggest cooperative in Latin America, and he just arrived in our home, so he's helping us right now. So I will share with you a short presentation on how we managed to reach the levels that Brazil has now, but remembering that we needed probably more than 40 years to achieve these kind of results. But with today's technology and this open technology that we have, probably Nigeria will get in very less time. So let me just share my presentation. Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay. Okay. So I will let Paulo go forward right now. And since I'm not talking, we wear a mask. This is Brazilian policy right now.
Okay, as for the said, I'm Paulo Mazzetto. I will give you a little overview of the world market for the cycle 21 according to the FDA.
Okay, he's audible.
I'm sorry?
He's not clear. He's not audible.
Okay, bem alto.
Okay. According to the FDA, the world is expected to produce 361 million metric tons of beans this year, this cycle, and Brazil is expected to produce 37% of it, the biggest part, followed by the United States, Argentina, and the rest of the world. Brazil, if everything goes well, is expected to produce 133 million metric tons, and out of it, we export 85 million metric tons and crush 48 million. Of what we crush, half of it we keep it inside Brazil to produce feed for animals, and half of it we export. What the price of the drivers of the price now are the small U.S. ending stocks. The U.S. ending stocks are about 3 million metric tons. It's really small. It's driving the prices in Chicago high. The Chinese demand is really high, not only for soybeans, but for all goods, and mostly wheat, and everything is getting high because of this demand.
Sorry, can you be closer to the microphone? Can you come close to the microphone? We can't hear you very well. Can you come close to the microphone, please? Thank you.
So as I was saying, the U.S. have a small ending stocks. The Chinese is buying a lot of goods, soybean among them, and we have a delayed Brazilian harvest due to the rain, and we have a lot of big lineup, a lot of vessels waiting to load here in the ports, and we have a dry weather in Argentina. It all makes the prices go high, and we are facing a really high price in a long time. But the question we are talking about, what made Brazil the biggest producer? What made us get this big? I see as an agronomist, we started way back. Our farm started with soil correction and fertility. We are really concerned about the physical properties of soil. We started no tillage and many techniques focusing the soil. And next, we focus in genetic improvement for our varieties because Brazil is really big. We have low and high altitudes and latitudes, different environments, and we have many different varieties with that. Embrapa started the program, and now the private sector got in and developed many different varieties. Our farms invested heavily in mechanization, and we have many multinationals that can provide us agrochemicals, pesticides. We have technical assistance, and we have achieved the scale of production and trade. Even small farmers have achieved this scale, and it was possible. It was all possible because of the cooperative system that Rodrigo is going to talk more about. Thank you.
Thanks, Paulo. All right, so I'll give you right now the big picture about cooperatives. So of course, we have many different models of cooperatives, but this is probably one of the macro, the big picture, as I said. So we start with two agents. So we have the producer, the farmer. He can be the owner of the land or the producer and the farmer itself, and the cooperative. The cooperative will be managed by the farmers. So we need to have the directors of the cooperative, they must be farmers, okay? They must be associated with the cooperative. So in one part, we have the farmer that has the land and the property and the ways of production, right? And the other way, we have the cooperative that is able to provide these farmers the infrastructure to be handling the production, the grains and all products, many other products, and storage and treat, and also manufacture. When you think about verticalizations like Agraria, we are verticalized. We go all the way from the research to the product to on B2B business, like wheat flour and soy crush, where we have the soy meal and the oil. So here are just an example of the ways that we work. So we have the grains, the fruits, vegetables, animal protein. When we talk about agriculture, cooperativism, and then the cooperative has the power to supply the producer with tech assistance, supplies, credit, research, whatever the farmer needs for their crops. And then in the second stage, we have some third parties, agents that comes to help as well. But before that, the cooperative has also the main responsibility to trade the goods, right? So they can go for the domestic market when you're talking about some regional products like horticulture, or to the international market. That's something that I can see that you guys are interested. So it is going for export and import. The third-party agents that I said are mainly the ag tech companies, as I call, so multinationals like Syngenta, like Bayer or BASF. So these companies, they are agents that comes with the technology, and they are suppliers of the cooperative and the producer and the farmer. But since the cooperative has this group of farmers together, it has more power to buy products in a lower price, right? Very basic here. And they provide seeds, ag chemicals, fertilizer, biocontrol, and tech assistance. So not also the cooperative can give tech assistance, but the ag companies can come and work together.
And also another third party that's very important are banks or credit cooperatives as well. So banks are the ones, I'm talking about Brazil. We have special products from the banks that works together with some special lines with the government that can provide funds, like the last panelist was saying, funds to make this engine work. Okay, this is most of the time the fuel that we need for this big engine to work. And last but not least, we have this agent, the government. So the government, as I can call, it is for us the oil of the engine, is the agent that comes into this system to make it fluid. So while we can see that the government has the part on this system is to provide us with infrastructure. So in Brazil, we had a time, and we still struggle sometimes, that we produce in the countryside, but sometimes we don't have ways to make this grain go all the way to the port. So infrastructure, logistics of transportation and storage, and also incentive policies. And these incentive policies you can translate as special lines from the treasury. So these lines will be products that the banks can offer with a lower credit, or lower taxes. When you talk about cooperative and farmers, we have in Brazil something that we call the Co-op Member Act. So we have some taxes that are zero for us when you trade between cooperative and farmer, or between cooperative to another cooperative. And also provide with tech support. So we have a state tech company called Embrapa. It's a company that probably will talk to your government through this green pact that you're signing. So these guys are the ones that from the 70s, they increase our yield and helping us to provide us with a better information and different technology, because Brazil is so big. We started all the way from the south, and now we can produce all the way to the tip of the north of Brazil. So basically, what I wanted to give to you was this big picture on how we work in Brazil right now. And Agraria, this is how Agraria works. Agraria has around 620 co-op members. We are achieving 70 years of establishment in this year, and we are 100% closed cooperative. So our co-op members can only buy from us and can only sell to us their products, but we have industries as well. And so I'm glad to provide you guys today with this information. I will later give my contact. So if you have any doubts, we will be open to answer your questions at this moment or maybe later. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Rodrigo, for that insightful presentation on what Cooperativa Agraria Brazil is doing. Thank you so much. That was very insightful. So that's right. So you can, this is a networking session, everyone. So you can drop your contact details so people can contact you, reach you, ask further questions, or engage even after the event. Yeah, so Rodrigo, thank you so much. I truly appreciate this. So if there are further questions you would like to ask Rodrigo, you can kindly, because of brevity of time, we may not be able to take a lot of voice or audio questions, but you can just kindly type it. Once you type it, we'll reach back to him, or he will see it from there and respond to you on the chat function. Yes. So so that's that for that session. So like I said, if you have a question for Rodrigo, you can just kindly type it using the chat function, and then he will get back to you accordingly. So Rodrigo, you might have to be taking note of the chat function or questions that might be coming so you can respond to it appropriately. Yes.
Okay.
All right, great. Okay, to take us further on today's event, we're going to the next session of the event, which is a pitch session. At this session, we would like to call our sponsor. That would be Kumar Metal Industries. Like I said earlier, they are turnkey plant suppliers. The representative, Mr. Dilip, would kindly run us through a brief profile of what the company does. So, Mr. Dilip, if you can hear me, kindly unmute your microphone, and then let's get to meet what Kumar does. Please, this is your time, Dilip.
Hello, everyone. This is Dilip from Kumar Metal.
Yeah, hi, Dilip.
Yes. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Dilip. I am looking after the marketing things in Kumar Metal, and I have our VP Technical, Mr. Nehte, who is looking after all the technical things. He has a vast experience of 25 years. On my left, and in my right, I have our DGM, Mr. Santosh Pawar. He is mainly looking after the Nigerian market. He used to always travel to Nigeria, and mostly half and more than half of the year he used to be in Nigeria only. So I will start my this company corporate presentation. So we are Kumar Metal Industries. We are established in 1939 and globally representing our this engineering and manufacturing organization. So till now we have more than 60 served in more than 60 countries, and we serve 500 more than 500 clients. So we have a joint venture with the Crown Iron Works, which is a leader in this solvent extraction plant. So we have a joint venture with them for more than 500 TPD capacity plant. We have a technical collaboration, and we used to take the technology of Crown and supply the plants. So we are ISO 9001 and 2015, and all the certification things we used to do, tax things, for CE marking things, everything. And as per tax directives, we used to export our machineries and equipment to European sector. So this is the global presence of our Kumar Metal Industries. We have two manufacturing units in India, Mumbai, India only. We own manufacture each and every equipment here under our roof. So these are the some glimpse of our unit 1 and unit 2.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
This is the biggest plant we have done last year, 4,000 TPD plant in collaboration with this Crown Iron Works. We have manufactured all the equipment of this 4,000 TPD plant in our workshop only.
Okay.
These are our quality policies. This is our strength. We have a process team, detail engineering team, equipment manufacturing, our works, QC, erection and installation team. We used to do the trial run and commissioning of the plants, performance optimization. So these are the some tools what we are using for for our projects. SolidWorks, PV Light, for every project we used to make 3D drawings. These are some analysis equipment, design calculation, what we are doing inherent in-house. This is the project planning and tracking things, what we are doing for different type of projects.
Okay.
These are some photographs of the installed plant.
Okay.
This is the oil mill section, and this one is the biggest expeller machine we are supplying for Agnet, 200 TPD capacity. Some solvent extraction plants photograph what we have supplied.
Okay.
These are some refineries what we have supplied. This is 100 TPD refinery in Romania. This is 150 TPD in Iran. Again in Libya, 100 TPD. So what services we offered is the technological identification throughout project executions and the engineering, total engineering, equipment and foundation layout, PNID, everything we used to prepare, 3D modeling, what we have, everything we used to do it in-house. So installation, commissioning, and after sales service. 24/7 after sales service we are giving. As I have already mentioned that our DGM Mr. Santosh used to be at Nigeria 7 to 8 months in a year. So around the year we can give you the services. These are the process automations, technical audits we used to do, online site training we are giving. These are the some after sales service what we are doing.
Okay.
This is all about a small glimpse of about our Kumar Metal industry. We request all of you to visit our website www.kumarmetal.com so that we can you can put your inquiries or your we can give you a project solution, anything for a small plant, for a bigger size plant, whatever is your priority. We can have a for all type of seeds, soybean, shea nut, everything. We can give you guidance, we can give you the details of projects, we can give you the startup details, everything we can give you and we can serve you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity.
Great. Thank you so very much, Dilip, for that information about Kumar Metal Industries. So kindly drop your details and then your website, the URL for your website. Kindly drop it so that you can be adequately contacted after this event.
Thank you
please
very
kindly.
much.
I can see you have dropped your you have dropped a chat. So drop details. And if you have question for Dilip, if you have question for Kumar Metal Industries, please kindly drop it at the chat function, and then you would be adequately be attended to.
Yes, we will give you the reply. We will try to attend all possible solutions to you. Thank you very much, sir.
Great. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Yeah. So once again, Kumar Metal Industries are one of the sponsors of this event. So we really appreciate them for that. Thank you very much. All right, sir. Okay. Again, like we said, this event is aimed at ensuring, it's aimed at creating a platform for people to network. So we're going to be giving Professor CD Osho an opportunity. She has a project and she's seeking funding for. So we have fund managers who are here. We have Kines Private Investment that is here. We have Stanbic IBTC. We have some private investors who are here and are listening to you. So we're going to give Professor CD Ojo an opportunity, Osho, I beg your pardon, an opportunity to present our project. So if you can hear me, Professor, please kindly unmute your microphone for your presentation. Thank you. Okay, if you can hear me, if you can hear me, please, Professor CD, kindly unmute your microphone. Unmute her so that she can quickly give us her presentation. Professor, if you can hear me, please, kindly unmute your microphone. Okay, while we wait, while you're trying to do that, let me quickly, Professor David Ojo, we're going to come back to you. I can see you have your hand raised there. We're going to come back to you shortly. Okay, maybe you want to say something, Professor David Ojo. We missed you at the final.
Yes, please, I have to say something. I was cut off by we were not able to unmute me. That's why I couldn't talk. But now I think I'm unmuted, and I just want to say something quickly about about what IIT is doing to assist Nigeria in soybean productivity and production. I believe that Dr. Wala has done a lot of work because he also is one of us in IIT, comes there most of the time. And I believe that the major aspect of what we do in IIT, collaboration university in Abeokuta, not Akure now, is we do so much promote dissemination of technologies, because that is one of the things we do to make sure that soybean utilization is done in Nigeria, because without dissemination, without promotion of this technology, there will be no use by the farmers or the end users, and production will become very, very, very low as usual. But as soon as dissemination of information is carried out in the right way in terms of promotion of the inputs like nodumas, like reduced spacing, like the good agronomic practices, and use of the right varieties of soybean, it is very easy for Nigeria to increase productivity. And we have carried out a lot of training programs for seed industries and like, so that all this technology, modern technology, as far as production is concerned, have been taken care of. And I believe that linking with the Nigeria Soybean Association, we should be able to provide the necessary machineries for soybean utilization and productivity in Nigeria. And I'm very happy that Professor Shaw is here. We have done this thing before. We can do it again. And if you give us the opportunity, we should be able to assist you to carry out this information, promote soybean productivity in Nigeria. Thank you very much. I'm very sorry for the hitch at the beginning of the program, but now I want to thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. David Ojo. Thank you for that. We appreciate you. We're happy you're able to join. Thank you, sir. And your contribution is okay. So like I said earlier, we're going to call Professor Sidi Osho. She will be presenting us her project that she's seeking funding for. Prof, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. And I thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk about what we do and what we think will improve the productivity of soybean in Nigeria. First and foremost, like I said earlier, the issue of malnutrition, the issue of health challenges is so significant. As you know, soybean has quality oil, no cholesterol, and it also has high protein of about 40%. And that is what we want to promote. I have told you earlier that there's such a significant, there's a significant impact of advocacy on dissemination of technologies, both at the production level and also at the household and utilization level. We want to embark on that. That is the only way people will be aware, farmers will be aware, communities will be aware of the uses of this important crop. Another thing that we would like to achieve with this new project is to look at farm gate processing, which means that we could do household level. We should also do small scale, like, extraction of oil, defatted cake, flour, then incorporating it into our traditional foods, developing soy gari, soy lafu, soya fufu, to improve the nutrition and also advocacy. Earlier, Ms. Tola was talking about, investments and mechanized farming. As we continue to do this in terms of training, so when we do the advocacy, we carry the production training along with it as a team, and we've done this in the past as the NSA, and we can do it again, and we can do it in at least 17 states of the federation that are potential states for soybean. And we know from past experience that once you match the utilizations, household, improve technologies, and opportunities, farmers key into it immediately and increases the production. At the same time, we are also aware of countries that want to, market their soybean. This is a platform that which we can engage with them, because you see, as much as the quality of soybean, Nigerian soybean is important. So, and if we can't meet the demand, then if we even import as a result of that, there should be an opportunity for people to know that the quality of the kind of soybean that is being imported is even, is at par with the one in Nigeria, because a lot of people are concerned about the GMOs, and so therefore it is important that we match advocacy. So this project that we are doing is going to marry the training, it will marry advocacy, it will marry small scale processing, it will marry industrial applications, and it will also marry impact assessments of the uses of soybean, both at all these levels and the impact on our economies and our small scale. Now we are looking at opportunities for women and youth to cultivate soybean and also to utilize soybean as a farm gate. So we'll identify simple processes that they can embark on, like making soy flour, which can be used in the poultry industry, or maybe soy grits, and also looking at extrusion cooking to bring soybean to its best use at industrial level and capacity. We'll also be looking at defatted cake. So we've done it before, and I know we can do it again. So give us an opportunity with this new project as NSA, and we would be able to transform the use of soybean from about 15 states to almost about 30, about the 30 states that have the potential to be able to produce soybean. Thank you very much.
Okay,
And thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that. So please, you kindly drop your contact details so that our financial partners or financial institution who are part of this can follow up with you.
Okay.
This project. Thank you very much. Okay, so we really don't have enough time left. If you look at your time, it's almost 2 o'clock. So we're trying to call it a wrap now. We're supposed to have presentations from Benue State. Remember, Benue State is one of the largest producers of soybean. I don't know if in one minute, I mean, I don't know if that's possible. In 1 minute, I would like Mr. Abayo Tewasi to unmute his microphone, and then just in 1 minute, sir, just in 1 minute, what opportunities are in Benue State. Abayo Tewasi, Anthony, please unmute him for his 1 minute or few seconds speech. Yeah, please go ahead.
Good day. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, here in Benue State, we are already, there's a situation here, we are preparing ourselves very seriously and waiting and preparing ourselves. We are looking forward to our partners who are ready to partner with us, and in fact, a lot of expectation from the farmers, especially as we have had enough of some training. We have received some training from some facilitators on how to improve soybean production and all that. And so we are looking forward, and we hope that the production this year is going to be better than that of last year. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that. So please kindly drop your contact detail so that you can be contacted also. Would also like to call on the representative from Niger State to present in 1 minute some of the opportunities that are Niger in the soybean value chain. Please, representative from Niger State, kindly unmute your microphone and go ahead. Just 1 minute. Yes, representative from Niger State.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Nathaniel.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Nathaniel. My name is Fatima Wushishi. I'm the DG of the Niger State Commodity and Export Promotion Agency. And in the state, soybean is one of our key focus crops. I mean, we have 10% of the land mass of the country, And again, we're ready and able to produce as much as possible. What we're working on in the state, we're going right back to the farmers. We're trying to also boost productivity in the state just to ensure we remain competitive, because we're also trying to access the global market with our soya bean. And we understand, yes, we're in competition with the likes of Brazil and China. And in order to do so, we have to ensure that we are, our productivity, we can increase our yields, boost our productivity. So that's what we're working on at the moment. We're looking to export, whole soya beans. We're also looking to support the processing industries as well with raw materials. So also working on supply chain integration domestically and internationally. So, and we're also working on traceability. We're in partnerships with various organizations on that. We're also working on the global gap training for our farmers, really as well, just to ensure that we meet the international standards. So in the state, we're focused on quality, productivity, and competitiveness. Thank you, Nathaniel.
Thank you very much for that information. So you can also as well drop your contact details, if you will, so that appropriate bodies can contact you for discussions. All right, we'll just take one more presentation and then run to a very interesting, another very interesting presentation, and that we'll call it a wrap up from there. If if Sunday Idoko can hear me, you can please kindly unmute Sunday Idoko. You just have some few seconds to present your project. Just some few seconds, sir. Sunday Idoko. Unmute Sunday Idoko. And then Sunday Idoko, once that is done, mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Hello, my name is Sunday Idoko, and we are into in-grower and outgrower of soya beans. And one of the major things we do is we use inoculants from IITA, which is Nodumas. And the Nodumas has enhanced the production of our soya beans, at least 30 to 40% increase in the production. Now, our outgrower program is we use the farmers, the little apple we're able to give them, we try to give them, so that at the end of it, they give us the produce in return. So that is what we are doing. And like now on our database, we have over 300 farmers in Nasarawa State on our database. So we are looking for partnership, anybody that can partner with us so that it will enhance it. What we do is once we give them the inoculant and the produce, we take the soya beans back with the same rate of money. They give us the soya beans back. So that is generally what we do in Nasarawa State. So we are welcoming anybody who wants to partner with us so that we can do that. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you so much, Mr. Sunday Idoko, for that. So just kindly drop your contact details.
Okay. It's okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. To take us further into this event, almost about is you're distracted now. Thank you. All right, now we're going to be having a presentation on what investors look out for when investing in agribusiness projects. To take us to do justice to that, I would like to call on the representative of bankability. If you're with us, please kindly unmute your microphone to give us insight into what investors look at for when investing in agribusiness.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to briefly do a presentation. My name is Busanga. I am the founder and CEO of Bankability. What we actually do is ensure that African trade transactions are creditworthy and bankable before match them with finance. Often, and it is often said by financiers especially, and it's been said in your event before by banks, that bankers are not Father Christmas. So when looking for finance, there are a number of things that's very, very important to understand. The very first thing is, how do you actually package deal? It's one thing to say you are looking for money. So let's say you're an exporter, you're looking for money. Okay, you have a purchase order, great. Who is that purchase order from? Are you do you understand that, are you aware that whoever is issuing that purchase order is able, has the financial capacity to be able to meet the demands of that or the financial obligations of that particular purchase order? Make sure they have a letter of credit behind it. If you can, make sure there's a confirmation statement behind it. You as a business, the one key thing that's really, really important as a business is that you have governance processes in place. I know it's a word that it's one of those words that is despised across the continent, but there is no such thing as being bankable without governance. Governance equals bankability. So it's very, very important that things like financial governance, regulatory governance, operational governance, risk governance, especially risk governance, all those things are thought of before you start to look for money, because this is essentially what the banker is looking at. What they're thinking is, if I give you this money, are you going to be able to use it to do what you say you're going to do and actually execute this deal? That is what they're trying to understand. Do you have the 12 months of financials that support that? In other words, what is happening with your management accounts? Management accounts is one of the things that most businesses, it's not done. It's really, really important that every single month you do management accounts. If you don't have audited accounts, management accounts is your next best thing. So I know we all don't like it. I know a lot of people don't want to pay for audit accounts, and I understand the reason why, but it is very, very important, because without that, there is no way for a financier to be able to understand if you as a business can operate whilst still trying to execute this export deal, or if it's you actually buying equipment for in terms of asset management. So it's really important that you're able to illustrate that we have the money to operate as a business and we can still service the debt at the same time. If you're not able to illustrate that, you can't get the money. It's not enough just to have the deal. But what they're looking at is, how solid is the business in itself? What is the history of that business? How long have you been operating in that particular sector? How long have you been working with the particular client who you're buying from or selling to? So there's a number of boxes that need to be ticked. How do you operate as a business? And then of course, there's other things that now are really important, including ESG. I'm just going to quickly mention ESG because ESG allows you to get money that you would otherwise would not have access to. So you have to bear that in mind, that actually, if you're thinking about environmental and social governance, and I know sometimes that's really, really difficult, in the African market, especially in places in Nigeria, where a lot of the time for the purposes of survival, families do have children who are of a certain age working in the industry. Unfortunately, that totally breaks any kind of ESG rules. So it means that you won't get money. Even if you are an aggregator, you as an aggregator are responsible for making sure whoever you aggregate product from are following these practices. So if you are able to meet ESG standards, that opens up a world of financial opportunities in terms of being able to get access to funding that you otherwise wouldn't have. So finally, I'll just iterate the governance, the importance of governance. It's even more important when looking for finance in international markets because they are very stringent in terms of the boxes that need to be ticked in order to be able to raise money. So yeah, the collateral thing is not the biggest thing. Governance even bigger, audit accounts even bigger, or management accounts more important. So yeah, if you're looking to, so as I said at the beginning, we help businesses to ensure that they tick all those boxes before we match them with finance. So we work with lenders, but we also work with borrowers. What we do is we do the due diligence up front and then find out any of the red flags that are going to result in you being rejected finance. We then tell you what to do about it. Once it is done and we've made sure that, okay, now you're unlikely to be refused finance, that's the point at which we match you. So what we do is we de-risk, or we, lower the likeliness of you getting rejected. And that's because we've worked very closely with financiers to understand what it is they need, and they've helped us to build our product. So yeah, if you're looking for funding, especially if you're an exporter, but also if you're looking to buy equipment for the purposes of a factory, so equipment, etc., get in contact with us. I will say from the get-go, you must have a minimum requirement of $1 million. However, we are working on a product that will enable us to go down to 250,000. We'll have more news of that as over the spring/summer. So, but we are looking at, so it's our own actual product where we will be lending anywhere between 250,000 and $2 million to agribusinesses that are in need of finance, and it's going to be collateral free, even more important. So look out for that. I'll be in Nigeria in about 2.5 weeks. So anybody who's looking for finance, this is a good time to get in contact with me, because I'm going to be, traveling around the country, meeting some of the businesses that I've been speaking to over the past few weeks. Thank you once again for giving me the time to talk.
Great, thank you so very much, ma'am, for that very insightful presentation. So I see you've already dropped your contact details. So those of you who are interested can quickly save her contact and then contact her for further discussion. Thank you very much once again. So we might not really have time to take questions because we are a little behind schedule. So we don't want to drag the meeting longer than now. So if you have a question, kindly use the chat function, type in your question, and then you'll be attended to appropriately. That's what I would advise. So we would also, after this session, we'll leave some few minutes on. I mean, officially we'll soon be bringing the meeting to a close, but even after we close, there would be a little time left for you to proceed with, there'll be a little time left for you to go ahead with networking and all of that. So I would come back in a minute, but let's have a closing remark from Ms. Tola Johnson. She's, like we introduced her earlier, this is the CEO, Catalyst Gold Agro Allied Industries Limited, also Advisory Council member, Soya Excellence Center, which is a project of United States Soya Export Council. I will do that quickly, and then I take, once you do that, I'll come on board quickly. So Tola, please go ahead, this is your time. Tola, if you can hear me, unmute Tola Johnson so she can give us a closing remark while I come up.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me, please?
Absolutely, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Udiba, for putting all this together. It's been a very, very great afternoon of intellectual knowledge sharing amongst everyone that has participated, both the presenters and everyone who has been online. I want to say a big thank you to you all for taking out time to be part of this. And just like he has mentioned, we shouldn't just leave it here. Just like every other presenter has mentioned, we shouldn't end it here. We need to take this narrative forward wherever we find ourselves in this value chain. We need to play our role and play it very well. Where help is required, please don't hesitate to ask for help. where so that if one person doesn't know, that person can always ask from someone else. Together, we can make so much happen in the soybean value chain. And I believe what we have begun on this platform at this event is something that will take us higher in the soybean industry. This is not where it ends, but I would say this is the beginning of great and mighty things that will involve all of us, and even who are not here, that this message will be passed on. Thank you once again, and I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for that one. We'll truly appreciate. Yes, so yeah, I would like to also specially recognize the presence of Mr. Godson Oninuwu. He is one of the directors of CDI. CDI is Commodities Development Initiative. Godson Oninuwu, you're welcome, sir. And then I would also like to recognize Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Kontagora. He is the National President, NASPAN. So if you can hear me, I would like him to just say a quick hi to the audience quickly. Mr. Mohammed Kontagora, kindly unmute your microphone and just say.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It has been quite interesting listening to experts and actors across the value chain of soybeans talking, and of course, it elicited a lot of interest. I must confess that Professor, you have said something quite interesting to me. I will want to share my little experience. I was the pioneer chairman of the PMT versus project management team of Anchor Borrower program in Niger State. And soybeans is one of the commodities we developed that time. We participated, we had 3 commodities. And then, of course, soybeans turns out to be number 1. But one thing I want to say, and I'm happy the prof has talked about that, is we should be able to have encourage having infrastructure that is in terms of common facility center for the processing. Most of the time, you find that our people will do the farm the soybeans. They have a lot of challenges in terms of storage facilities, in terms of transportation, and indeed in terms of processing facilities. So they are left at the mercy of the LBS, local buying agent. But to me, the prospect is big, and we should also do a lot of sensitization. Let's talk to our people, let's talk to our farmers, let them continue to see the farming of soybeans and indeed any other commodities as a business. Let us have a focus on that. And then to Kumar, please, and I would want to see a situation where you have small scale processing facility. Please come up with that. That way we can group our farmers and then put them into cooperative, train them, and then let them assess those facilities so that they should be able to process in their community. I believe if we can do that, we can go a long way in developing the sector. It is quite an interesting topic, and I believe with people like Mr. Roland and the team I saw today, I'm quite confident and hopeful that we will take soybeans to the next level. In fact, we are now setting the basis for us being competitive, because the key thing is for us to be able to be competitive. And for us to be competitive, we must have the necessary tools, the necessary infrastructure, and then the necessary support, and of course the training. Thank you and God bless.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed Kontagora. Also to add that Mr. Mohammed Kontagora is also one of the directors of CDI, Commodities Development Initiative. Thank you, sir. Also, I would like to specially recognize the presence of Mr. Emmanuel Ijewere. He is a vice president of the Nigeria Agribusiness Group. Mr. Manuel, thank you for taking our time to be part of this event. We truly appreciate. Thank you, sir. Another person would like to really thank Afro Chamber. They really worked with us on this event. I truly appreciate Afro Chamber. Nara, thank you. Rodrigo, thank you. Rio, I also thank you very much, and everyone that has made. Paul, thank you very much for everyone that made presentation on that side. And then also would like to thank Nigeria Soybean Association for working together with us to ensure that this event was held. Thank you so very much. There are a lot of things we'd like to say, but time wouldn't permit us to do so. So what I would do is, like I said earlier, I will just leave a chat function. You could use a chat function and then continue chatting, introduce yourself and all of that, so that some of you will get to know yourselves. Of course, I would not forget to mention that we were honored with the presence of Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Thank you very much for taking our time for this. Mr. Bello from Nigerian Export Promotion Council, thank you very much. We appreciate you for taking our time to be part of this event. Thank you, BASF West Africa. Thank you very much. We thank some of our partners who we never had time to call them, but we truly appreciate you. We know Nourishing Africa is here also, and a whole lot of other people. Pardon me if I omit calling your name, because we are actually out of time now. Again, I thank you for the time. I thank you for taking our time to be part of this event. We're going to be sending details of these deliberations to your email, so be on standby for our report. All right. Please take time, type in what you want to type. We'll not close the meeting. Well, officially, we've closed the meeting, but we'll leave the platform open for any other person that has questions to ask, who has any other thing to contribute. You can use the chat function and then do that. So we'll leave some few minutes for that to happen. Again, thank you so very much. I also thank the founder, director, Nigeria Agribusiness Register, for his support in this event. Thank you very much, sir. And I thank everyone. Please do have a great afternoon. Thank you.